Well, hello and welcome to Transformation Conversations, Latino Heritage Edition. My name is Brandon and I'm the Transformation Pastor here at Soul City. And we are so thankful that you are joining us for this very important conversation. As a church, one of our values is to be a bridge building church. And what that means is that we want to be the kind of community that walks in cultural humility and actively pursues moving out of our cultural comfort zones so that we can pursue deeper connection and relationship with one another. And our goal here for this conversation, it is quite simple. We want to celebrate stories, we want to elevate voices, and we want to learn together as a church community. Latino Heritage Month is a time of reflection. It's a time of celebration, and it's a time to acknowledge the impact, not only on a personal level, but on a cultural and societal level that the Latino culture has on each and every one of us. So I want to encourage you to lean in, relax, whether you are listening to this on your commute, if you're at home, in the gym. We hope that this conversation sparks deeper connection and curiosity and a all-around sense of belonging. Let's get into it.
My name is Bernadette Miranda. Everyone around here knows me as BB. I'm from Chicago, Lakeview area, and I am of Puerto Riqueña heritage, Boricua baby.
My name is Tito Vega. I'm Puerto Rican. Grew up in the neighborhood here in Chicago called Humboldt Park. I had the privilege and the honor to live in Puerto Rico for about 7 years, from 6th grade to 9th grade, in a little town called Camoy, Puerto Rico.
My name is Antoinette, and I'm from Venezuela.
I'm Destiny, and I'm born and raised in Chicago.
My name is Jeanette Vega. I am Puerto Rican, but I was born and raised in Chicago. I was born in Bucktown.
Oh, wow, okay. I took a wild guess because Tito was like, Humboldt Park, so I just didn't know you guys met him.
No. He's Humboldt Park. I'm Bucktown. He's the Cubs. I'm the Sox. I mean, that's what it is.
So to narrow it down to one thing would be really tough. But, I love the creativity and the joy and the color and the flavor that we bring to everything in life. I love our strong connection to family and faith, music and art, and all things lively. And I love our resilient spirit.
The music, just being able to listen to it anytime, anywhere. That's my favorite part. I really love Mexican party music. But right now, my favorite is, of course, Bad Bunny and Forever Marc Anthony.
I think one thing I love about my Latino heritage and my culture is how we connect with other Spanish cultures as well. So it's not only about Puerto Rico, but how we're connected to so many different islands, so many different countries. Sometimes even our food connect, the way we deal with people, and how we respect each other. Respect is really huge in my family and my culture.
One of the things I really love most about it, I myself am Peruvian, and I'm really close friends with other Latinos who are Ecuadorian, Guatemalan, Mexican, Colombian. And while there are a lot of similarities amongst us in terms of culture and our upbringing, there are quite a few nuances in terms of how we say certain things in Spanish, whether it be slang, whether it be like food, whether it be like how our parents saw certain things when we were growing up. And it almost feels like while there are a lot of similarities, we get to learn from one another. And it's a really cool experience.
I love our passion. I love our fire and how resilient we can be. I feel through our culture, we encounter sacrifice through my parents, my siblings, even my own journey as an immigrant. So the resilient that we can show, I think it's something that I really treasure about my culture.
I like the parties, like the quinceañeras because there's food, dancing, tacos.
I think one of my favorite things is the love. Like even when you go to Puerto Rico, you're everybody's amor. Like you're everybody's love. They don't know you. They've never seen you before, but it's like such a warm culture. Or even when you're eating, they're like buen provecho. It's like, have a great meal. And it's like, you don't know me, but that's the greeting you get. And they do it to anybody. So I think that's my favorite thing. We have such a warm, everybody's with us. No one's against us. So it's kind of nice.
I like the language.
Like what? Do you know Spanish?
Yeah.
Can you try some or no?
Yeah.
Good.
Sí.
You did perfect. I love it. ¿Cómo estás?
Bien.
Yeah. Then all right. Good job, dude.
Probably the food.
The food.
Yeah.
What kind of food do you? What's like one of your favorite foods?
Acapulcos.
What Puerto Rican dishes do you love to cook, or do other people, I guess, request the most from you?
Okay, I do get a lot of requests. I am the one that hosts the holidays for my family. So I make a fantastic pernil, or lechon, which is a roast pork leg or shoulder. I make Puerto Rican rice, arroz con gandules. I make yuca. I make tostones. I make mofongo. And for Thanksgiving, I make a phenomenal turkey.
Okay, and what is mofongo?
Oh my gosh, what is mofongo? It's our national food. It is plantains, green plantains that are cut up, fried, smashed, and then you put garlic and chicharron, which is like pork skin, pork rind, and you mash it all together with a little bit of seasoning, and it is, what is mofongo? Mofongo's delicious. That's what mofongo is. Wow, I mean, there are so many ways that I'm proud of our culture and how we enrich the world and the church. I just came back from the Bad Bunny concert, and I got to go to Puerto Rico for his closing show, and I just came back so full of just pride in the culture, pride in how we represent ourselves in spite of the things that are currently happening in our country. So given all that's happening here around the Latino culture, and then just watching that moment of just shining and what we contribute musically, artistically, and again, resilience and joy, to the world is just something that is just one of the things that I'm so proud of. And I think in the church as well, just, especially this month when we do Hispanic Heritage Month, and we just bring the music, we bring the drums, we bring the trumpets, we bring this color and flavor, and we grow up so deeply religious for sure, and deeply Christ-centered. And I just feel like when we get to bring that expression to the church, especially being people that are marginalized, and just get to come in our full expression of that, I think it just blesses the church as well to have that kind of joy and that kind of expression as well.
One of the things I'm most proud of this church is how diverse it is. Like I don't necessarily see colors. I just see us as a whole community with one center, which is just Jesus Christ. And I feel that's the purpose of church, more than colors, just a whole family honor him.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think similar to what I was mentioning earlier with the nuances in between different nationalities amongst the Latino community, I think because of that, we're very much used to differences in culture, even if there are similarities. And I think those nuances really, when it comes to assimilation, helps us be open to other cultures. And that really helps us show grace in spaces where we really want to learn about others in a church community and the world, where we can truly just take people for what they are, because there's a lot of complexities to a human.
I wasn't always at Soul City, but when I got to Soul City, they were very rooted in having all cultures very represented. And I feel like that was cool to see, because in my church, it was always just Hispanics, like only Hispanics. And then coming to Soul City, I got to see every single race, every single ethnicity. And it was very cool to see how they all work together to be one. It was like a humbling and eye-opening experience.
Yeah. So we grew up, my parents tried so hard to make sure we weren't just in our bubble. So coming into church, I grew up in a church where it was all Spanish. So I was so used to going into this little Spanish bubble. And then like coming to Soul City or going to other churches and seeing so many different people and connecting, it brings me back to what my parents taught us originally, that we all have the same color of blood. It doesn't matter the color of your skin. So that made me feel good because this is how I was raised.
I know people that are going through their days scared. I know kids that can't come to school, and it's the weight of it that they have to carry through their day-to-day life, and just understanding that it's not a joke. I feel like a lot of people try to think of it as a joke, and it's not a joke. It's something that people gotta live with every day. Scared to go outside, scared to go to grocery stores. Like, that is not a joke, and it's a real problem that people face every day.
Well, I think for me, I would like to answer it as a twofold question. For the Spanish community, I think I would like to see the Spanish community unite with other Spanish communities that are actually going through immigration process. I know there are a lot of Spanish Americans that don't have to fear immigration, but we should stand with those that are having a hard time with it. We may not share the same struggle, but we speak the same language. And there's one thing that we speak and we can all say is libertad, which means freedom. The church, in my point of view, we're doing a good job to staying away what man and social media is saying and focusing on what the Word of God is saying and what are the actual facts in regards to politics. So really kind of zone into what's truth and what's not true, and just continue to support and making a space for everyone that's going through this kind of ordeal.
Yeah. It's such a heartbreaking time as being othered and growing up with racism our whole lives, and having other people maybe not understand what that is like, to see it now so open and so almost sanctioned by the country that you also love and is also your home. It's just really heartbreaking. It's scary. It's sad. And it also feels like a very isolating experience. Sometimes right now it can feel like the whole world is moving on and people aren't getting that you're living in two worlds at once. You're living this joyful experience of who you are and celebrating that and being so proud of that and so expressive, while also closing my windows when I have my Spanish music on at home, or going into my natural Spanglish and then going, oh, I better not be speaking Spanish right now in the street. And so just feeling this need to make yourself smaller and more invisible because of the fear that nobody's checking who you are. You're just being profiled. Your question was, what would I like maybe the church to know about that experience right now? Is just the importance of knowing that you see us, some type of compassion, and even maybe a sense of solidarity in it, because it feels like a very alone experience.
When I think about the Latino community and what assimilation looks like, there's only about 2 to 3 generations worth of Latinos in this country, which means that our culture is still very much evolving and assimilating to American culture altogether. And I was actually reading a statistic the other day that about 78% of Latino children experience adverse childhood experience. That coupled with, some financial roadblocks from their parents, assimilation can become something very difficult for a Latino child, along with, Latino family. And so despite all of that, I think something that is very much within the fabric of our culture is to be resilient. And, part of the reason why many Latinos are here to begin with is because they want something better, but we also love embracing others, and we love embracing culture, and we love coexisting with one another. So I think where the church can move forward with this is just realizing that loving your neighbor is not meant to be easy. And, I think Paul warns us about this in Philippians, if I'm not mistaken, that we're not meant to devour one another. I think the reason why there's so many cultures in this world, in the church, is because we're meant to coexist. And just as we're both coexisting together, like, we put the body of Christ in motion and we can just move the church forward.
I think I would love for them to understand that, like, for Isaac, for example, me and my dad had this conversation recently because he's like, doesn't know where to land on it. But he's like, hey, I want them to take the bad people out of Chicago. And I'm like, well, Pops, they're not looking at bad people. We all look the same. So I don't think I look like a bad person, but I'm Spanish. So then I'm in the bad person category. So it's like, I wish people would know that just because I'm Puerto Rican and not Mexican doesn't mean I haven't had the conversations with my kids of, please have a picture of your birth certificate and social security on your phone. Because it's like, they're not going to look at me, especially me. A lot of people confuse me with a Mexican woman. They're not going to stop me and say, hey, Jeanette, are you Puerto Rican or are you Mexican? They're just going to grab me. So I think I wish people would not group us all, where it's like, you guys are all illegal and you're all going down, and just know what's going on. And then even the side of, I have Mexican family, so I do have fear there. And it makes me very sad to think about it, because I don't ever want to walk around with somebody and then, where do I stand? Do I fight or flight? So it's a very scary moment, because my initial thought would be to protect and to jump right in. And then it's like, am I supposed to jump right in? Which the church all around would know not only where we stand, but just the compassion of Jesus. Like, I think Jesus would have fought. And not saying he would have punched somebody in their throat. Maybe. But I think he would have fought for the underdog. And I think sometimes we're like, it's not in my backyard, so I don't have to worry about it.
It's definitely a hard time. As an immigrant, I consider it painful because I've been through family separation before and persecution before in my own country. So living here, what we're living as a Latino community is definitely challenging and painful. But I do believe, and I'm strong with this, that not human force is greater than the grace of God and his justice and power. So I relied on that to not loosen it and just be faithful and hopeful that this is gonna result.
Like, that's actually really scary, and like it shouldn't like be happening, because like we're all people, and the thing that's really just separating us is like culture and skin, and that's like, we're all people.
Yeah, what gives me hope is knowing who it is that we serve, who it is that just loves us so unconditionally, that we serve the one who was marginalized, that we serve the one that was a foreigner in a foreign land, that we serve the one that gave us these beautiful letters, instructing to care for those that are not native born and treat them as one of your own. And the one who ultimately said, I know the plans that I have for you, and they're for good, to give you hope in a future.
One of the things that gives me hope is that we're continuously wanting to celebrate other cultures, and really just having a lot of these conversations that you may not necessarily have every single day in the workplace or amongst those closest to you.
Well, I think today's state is a very good opportunity for us to speak up. I have faith in getting together stronger as a community. We can bring our fire, our flavor, our resilience to the church, and just like I said before, all together, just be stronger.
I think hope about the Latino community in the church, that Soul City is very diverse. I get to see that it's evolving in each of the ethnic backgrounds that are part of Soul City. When each person feels that they're celebrated, And I think moving forward, I see that happening more and growing more. There's space for that to happen, but there's even more space for more things to be happening at the same time. So I'm proud of my church. And as far as in general, just, I think the world is beginning to see that the Latino community is a part of the community as well. And I think that's something to feel hopeful for.
I think the kids now, especially high schoolers, we get to see it. Like last week, my school, we did a walkout for Hispanics and for ICE because a kid got took a couple blocks away from our school. And I feel like growing up in the world that we live in now, we're learning where our voice is at. And that's going to help us a lot in the future with politics and who will be in power and who won't be in power.
What gives me hope is allies. House of Hope right now laminated my heart. Sorry guys, all the tears. House of Hope laminated a pink card, and it's to give out to people that says what to do if you're stopped. So those kind of allies where it's just like we're taking a stand, or like a Diamond or a Richard or Carrington asking me, or Darren, are you okay? And it's like those allies that stand with you, and not only they're gonna fight with you, but they check on you. It's like, how are you feeling in this intense environment? And that was some of the first questions I got from the Soul City staff, which I was like, wow, this is kind of awesome that your first question to me was, Jeanette, are you okay during this week? And I was like, and some of the conversations were like, I'm good. I trust God. And some of those conversations were, I am so not good today and I need a moment. But to have a space where I can say, man, this is horrible and terrifying. And people to sit there not brown-skinned like me and say, I'm holding space for you, So I think that gives me hope.
Well, thank you for joining us for this edition of Transformation Conversations. Man, we hope that this conversation was rich, that it was educational, that it was challenging, and that you are leaving here with something that you didn't have before. And again, my name is Brandon. Until next time, see you.